can turn your big dreams into reality, but you've got to change your relationship with fear. Because if right now you're afraid to fail and you see failure as a bad thing and you don't want to do things that make you fail, then you will not succeed at your highest possible levels. You will never tap into your greatest potential and achieve the things that you're called here to achieve. Why? Because failure is a required ingredient for success. It's not a nice to have component of success. It is a requirement to achieve massive dreams and goals. Now, if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich, you know that Napoleon Hill talks about this as the persistence test. And he says, no one achieves anything great. No one achieves anything great. That's a pretty powerful statement without passing the persistence test. Now, the two jobs of a persistence test, which if you feel like you're in a season of struggle or maybe even suffering in life, that's exactly what this is. But two things the persistence test does. Number one, it gets you to fail. I'll talk about in a second why that's important. Number two, it finds out how bad do you want to turn your dreams into reality. How much do you truly want to achieve the vision that you have in your head and the dreams that are in your heart? Now, the reason the persistence test has a goal of getting you to fail is failure is one of the most important places that we get to learn and grow and expand our minds and enrich our lives. If you've ever studied the highest performing people on the face of the planet, the greatest leaders and achievers in the history of the world, they have all failed miserably at least once, if not many, many, many times. Because I can tell you for certain, because I've been studying these folks for at least 20 years, because I'm obsessed and have been obsessed with what does it take to do something great with your life, to do the special things that you're called here to do, to turn your dreams into your actual concrete reality. And I see it over and over and over again. You probably do too. If you're scrolling on social media, if you're reading great books about the highest performers and achievers and great people in history, they failed. They failed miserably. And so you've got to realize that failure is not just like, oh, some people go through it or like it maybe it'll happen. No, it is a requirement for you if you want to achieve something great with your life. So the first thing you have to do is actually define failure. And this might sound so simple, but have you actually, for yourself, defined what failure means? Because if you haven't defined failure, your brain will associate failure with the things you've realized in your past. Meaning all of the different experiences or conversations or voices that have been fed into your head for your entire life, those are the things you're actually going to believe about failure. So if you don't make the decision to define it for yourself, how in the world are you going to change your relationship with it? You must choose how you will view failure. Is it a good thing? Will it help you? Is it necessary? Is it a requirement, as I said a few moments ago? Because if you believe it's a requirement, you will think about it totally differently in that moment. But if you think it's a thing you need to avoid, then guess what? You're never going to achieve the success you want. You're never going to turn your big dreams into reality. So you have to decide for yourself to define it, and to define it in a way that makes you want to experience it, to smile when you get knocked down by life, to feel grateful when you fall flat on your face. Because it's in those times, it's in those seasons of struggle that I like to say that we get the opportunity to reflect. You've probably heard it said before that nobody reflects in success. Like, people don't achieve great things and they say, how did I achieve that? We find the times that we reflect the most is when we fail, is when we fall short, is when we didn't quite get to the level that we thought we should have gotten to. And so when you fall short, when you fail, when you don't achieve your goals, those are the opportunities for gold to be found. Because when we slow down enough to reflect, we will learn. And when we learn, we can grow. And when we can grow, we enrich our lives and become the kind of person that can do incredible things. And when you become the kind of person that can do incredible things, you'll be the kind of person that other people will want to support and be around and help and join your mission and your movement. And when you can get that level of attraction into your life, when you become that kind of a magnet for other high achievers and people that want to do something incredible, you will instantly put yourself on a fast path to creating the success in your life that you want. So number one, define failure. Number two, defeat negative self-talk. So when you fall, short of your goals, when you fail, when you fall on your face, do you tend to talk poorly to yourself? Gosh, I knew it. I knew I couldn't achieve it. Or how come I don't have what it takes? Or man, these other people are better than me. And you start to beat yourself up. Do you ever find yourself doing that? Well, the reality is, I think negative self-talk to an extent can maybe move us, just like fear can be good in a way that it moves us into action at times, and that's a much longer conversation, but let's stick right here. When you find yourself saying negative, disempowering, discouraging things to yourself, does it actually help you to get back into action and move forward? To get up, dust yourself off, and take the next step? For most people, negative self-talk holds them back from taking action that's required to turn their dreams and goals into reality. And so my thing for you, friend, is you got to get rid of the negative self-talk. And there's 3 things you can specifically do to make it happen. Number 1, you got to notice it. And this is going to sound so simple, but the simple things are the things we need reminded of that actually make the biggest difference. If you listen to the highest achievers in the world, the people that you admire and respect, they will tell you, when I do the simple things really well, when I focus on the fundamentals, that's when I start to create momentum and achieve bigger and better results. It's the simple little things that can make the biggest difference when you notice them. But the first thing you have to do is notice your negative self-talk. You got to catch yourself in the act of speaking poorly to yourself. And number 2, let it go. Wow, I didn't write that out super well. I was going to say L-I-G, let it go. You got to let it go with non-judgment. So as soon as you notice it, you now have to realize, that's an interesting thought. You can even say that to yourself, that's an interesting thought. But watch it pass by and let it go. Don't hang on to it, because the reason, and by the way, this is not just me saying, this is stuff I've studied, when people will tell you that depression happens when we ruminate on negative thoughts for long periods of time. Meaning we dwell on the things that are going wrong or that we think are going to go wrong, or the hopelessness that we have, or the tragedy that we find ourselves in, or the suffering we feel like we're going through, or the struggles of life that seem to never go away. When we dwell on those things, or said in the psychology world, when we ruminate on those negative thoughts, we put ourselves in a downward spiral. And friend, let me ask you a question. If you are putting yourself in a downward spiral, how in the heck are you going to go up to the level of your goals and dreams that you aspire to? You can't. No one will with that thinking. So you got to turn it around. But number 1, noticing. Number 2, letting it go. And number 3, replace. Should have given myself more room to write, but you're going to replace it with positive self-talk. You might say, well, JJ, does positive self-talk really work? Have you tried it? Because I know the people that have achieved at the highest levels, I find that they're people that find a way to convince themselves that they can do the things they're here to do, that their dreams can become a reality. And they remind themselves on a consistent, regular basis. By the way, just like depression happens when we ruminate on hopeless thoughts or negative thoughts or thoughts about our suffering, and we focus on the struggle, when we ruminate on those negative thoughts, we go in that downward spiral. But guess what? When we ruminate and dwell on the positive things of life, the hope that we have for a bigger, better, brighter future, when we focus on what we know can happen, what we want to see come to fruition in our lives, when we dwell on those thoughts, we move ourselves in this upward positive cycle towards our goals. We start to step up. We start to move forward. We start to turn our dreams into concrete reality. And the next thing you have to do is defend your dreams. You have to defend your dreams, because friend, if you are not willing to fight for your dreams, who the heck will? You have to be the one that is absolutely committed to fighting for your dreams. And by the way, sometimes, maybe more often than not, you're going to be defending your dreams against yourself, against your own negative self-talk, against your own pessimism, against your own imposter syndrome. You're going to have to defend it until you achieve it. But you got to do it consistently every day, and you have to decide that you're going to defend your dreams no matter who speaks ill will into your life, no matter who speaks discouragement, no matter what voices come into your life that might tell you you're not enough or you can't do it. You've got to defend your dreams, especially against yourself. Fight for your dreams. Fight for the things you want to make happen in the world, because you can. Because you can. And friend, I simply want to encourage you before I get into this last point, which will be the thing that closes us out and hammers it home and sends you on your way to turn your dreams into reality. I want to remind you that you are capable of so much more than you've ever even started to imagine. So my call to action for you right now is to refuse to settle for anything less than your greatest potential. What that means, to refuse to settle, means that you won't accept anything other than your greatest potential. And what that means is you can be content in life, you can be happy, you can be positive and joyful and fulfilled and grateful, and you know there's more. So you're going to keep pushing, you're going to keep moving forward because you know for certain that you're made for more, you're meant for more, you're here to do something special. And if I could just be in the room with you right now as you're watching this video, I'd love to just sit there with you in person and tell you this. You can do something special with your life. You can accomplish big things, not just for yourself, not for your glory, but for the ability to truly use your God-given gifts and talents, the skills you've developed through your efforts and hard work and your determination. You can use those skills, those gifts, and those talents to add value to the lives of other people and therefore make this world a way better place for all of us. Because when you do work that lights you up, when you feel fulfilled and alive, we find that you will shine even greater light and joy and love and passion and enthusiasm into this world. And friend, we're in a hurting, dark world that needs your joy, your light, your energy, your enthusiasm, your positivity, your hope, your optimism, your encouragement. We need your voice to come alive, to speak loudly, to speak with boldness, to speak with courage, so that other people can have their inner fire come alive and do what they're here to do. So I hope this message encourages you to go out and do the things you're here to do, so you, through your life's work, through your efforts, can inspire, encourage, and empower the people that are going to see you do the stuff that you do. And the fourth and final thing you need to do is determine to never ever quit. I had a football coach when I was in 6th grade. Every time after football practice, it was my 4th season playing football. This is something I will never forget, and it happened 20 plus years ago, over 20 years ago. And we were sitting there after all the practices, literally after every practice, after every game, and the head coach spoke up and he shared some great wisdom and insights. One of the most impactful, inspiring coaches I ever had in my youth sports growing up. And then he would always turn to the assistant coach, and we would look at the assistant coach, and he would always say, "Have anything else to say? Have anything else to share with the group?" And every single time, this assistant coach said, "Yes, I do." And the one thing he would always say to us is never, ever give up. Never, ever give up. And this, speaking of self-talk, positive self-talk, is the thing that rings through my head every single day. When things aren't going the way I want them to go, when I'm frustrated, when I feel like I'm struggling, when I feel like I'm not getting the breakthroughs or the opportunities that I want, or I feel slow in my progress in some area of life, or I'm slacking, or I'm falling short, or I'm failing in my mind at something, or have failed at something, I remind myself, never, ever give up, because I will go from the negative self-talk to the positive self-talk, because that voice has been with me since I heard it in 6th grade. Never, ever give up. Friend, let my voice go with you now. Never quit and never, ever give up, and great things will happen for you, and you will achieve incredible things with your life that you never even imagined to this point are possible, but will become possible if you persist and you pass the persistence test and you never freaking quit. You will break through, and great things will happen. Friend, refuse to settle for anything less than your greatest potential. Just keep going, and we'll see you next time.